Hi there guys, it's Dan here with your weekly update. So just looking at the DAX, the German DAX here, some really nice trading to the short side. Had this sort of big, new PTS sell on the daily, and we're in combination with a nice kind of momentum trigger on our storyteller. It's just been short all the way down. Every time it's sort of rallied into the moving averages, into resistance, we're into sort of sell mode again. Getting a new setup today for a new red kind of momentum trigger on the storyteller here, grey B momentum trigger. See if we can follow through and get to some new lows. We've had some nice sort of intraday trading with kind of these sort of pushes up, being rejecting at the resistance and rolling over. Been very nice indeed. And we're seeing more sort of downside really potential coming. We've got a bit of a channel here if we look on the 1 hour, so just seeing price work its way through that channel. We're looking at the lows 12,838 as our sort of next target and beyond. Who knows where this could go. If we look at the weekly, we just have the deep abyss here, and we've got this next low 12,420. The unknown, we call this, and really that's how it will be traded. How low can it go? So watching for more short side in the DAX. We just look at the Wall Street. And Wall Street's a little bit different here. If we look at it on the weekly, it's still red and down. Got some fabulous momentum triggers here. And we rallied up as well. We just sort of touched the moving averages, and that caused 1,000 pip, bear run down to the bottom. We're a bit in between moving averages here, so sort of ping-ponged between them. Found support, rallied up. And we were looking at this on our sort of 4 hour charts, and we had a lovely sort of trend predictor short here. You can see, yeah, there you go, trend predictor short entry, just working really nicely now. Trying to get through the sort of moving averages support, but really we're looking. Look at the storyteller here; it's just lacking any kind of bullish momentum. We're getting a new momentum trigger. Another trend predictor short as well. So could we be challenging the lows down here, down at 29,600 zone? I think so, but we'll see how that progresses. So that's really sort of the main stocks that I'm interested in. I mean, we can look at the NASDAQ as well, and fairly similar really to the Dow. New momentum triggers, short still red. And again, we're into the abyss here. We're below all the structure on, especially on our larger time frames. Well, the weekly anyway. The monthly there, we are a bit in between moving averages. Do we get below, like we are in the DAX here? If we get below this 200 period moving average, big psychological support. Could we see much more downside? Who knows? Do we go to the pandemic high here as our next target? Really, does still look bearish in the NASDAQ, just working its way through this sort of final line of support on the 200 period moving average. So stocks looking really nice still for good downside, and PTS red is still keeping us in the right direction. Just have a little look at the crude market. We've had a new red sell signal that's still valid in terms of weekly. We've had a sort of intraday kind of rally here. It's sort of one of those where I'm thinking flexibility is the path really. We've made a kind of new, well, trying to make a new low in this sequence here. Is this a lower high, and so we go lower, or do we find some support and push up? It really could sort of go both ways here on the daily chart. So we had a new green buy, and so we bought it this morning. It was quite nice for a while. If we look at the intraday chart here, you can see we've had a nice sort of trending move up from yesterday and into today. hit resistance, and now we're back into support. So it's quite a crucial area here. Do we find support and then we get into more upside, or does this kind of rotate? We were getting really the heads up for a bit of a pullback or a reversion here with this sort of two wave. Certainly, if we kind of measure our fibs to the highs here, we're in these fib extensions, we've come down beautifully off this two wave. So seeing if we can find support here and push up for the next big move. Other markets then, I'm looking at really still Aussie, New Zealand, still looking good for more long side. You know, if we look at this on the monthly, I've been talking about this for a number of weeks. You know, we're just at this early stage in the storyteller, wondering if this can get really something going to the upside. We had a nice pullback, you know, in the daily charts, and now we're returning green, new green sort of PTS buy here, and so we'll just go with the PTS. Get momentum trigger on the storyteller as well. Maybe we could go to new highs, which would be really nice, back up to that sort of monthly 200 period moving average. Now, one of the more trending markets around at the moment in terms of Forex. Then looking just on sort of antipodean currency pairs, just looking at this pound New Zealand, you know, it's in an interesting place here. Yeah, it's a bit white and sideways on the weekly, but we've got this sort of loss of momentum to the downside. You know, we're not far away from getting a nice momentum trigger. You know, new green PTS buy. We've had the PTS fire on the daily here, green. So that's the direction that we're looking at. It's just a bit choppy, but the market does this and then it kind of releases. You know, we're looking for something like this. You know, here where we just release and then we're trading that for weeks and weeks and weeks. So we're at the early stages here. Could this be a bit of a blue whale move, you know, pushing up into these highs again? So it is of interest. You know, it's early days. We'll see how that goes. And then finally, just getting to some of the yen pairs. You know, really are, you know, it's crazy yen season. It really is. Usually the yen strengthens if stocks go weak, but we're seeing the opposite at the moment. It's to do with sort of interest rates, and you know, Japan does not want to raise interest rates. It wants to make Japanese goods really cheap to buy, and we're seeing this. Dollar yen is still continuing strong and long. We do have things like trend predictors short here, but it's still green on the PTS. So we're seeing if any of those play out. You know, on the dollar yen, we've got the same, I think, on the CAD yen. It's been really pushing up here. But we're starting, is it fatiguing? You know, here if we look at the momentum on the CAD yen, we're making lower highs in the storyteller while we're sort of pushing up. So do we have a little bit of a breakdown and certainly some sort of sizable pullback? If we look to the wider time frames, the move here is very extended. You know, the moving averages are so lagging, so behind. When that happens, a bit like this, it gets very separated and price wants to come back down. Do we get that? Do we get that in the next days, weeks, you know, weeks coming? So interested in those yen pairs. It's early to sort of get any shorts off or anything, but there is still the potential in the coming days and weeks. So that's it, guys, for me. Hope that's useful, and I will speak to you soon.